Okay, are you guys ready for a strategy video? The strategy I'm talking about today is actually crazy good and has a lot of potential. How did I find the strategy and how can you trade it effectively? Well, I'm going to give you everything you need for this strategy in this video for you to be profitable. So make sure you watch right till the very end. Hey there, my name is Brett Sutton and I've been trading for well over 7 years and I love finding and testing new strategies. And in today's video, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, how exactly did I stumble upon this very strategy? Well, a few weeks ago, I found an old ebook that I haven't read for quite a while. It's a fantastic book and one I highly recommend you read if you are serious about trading and you want to just learn a little bit more about Japanese candlesticks, their origin, the history and where they come from, and some actual strategies and ways to trade them. This is the book here. It's got a lot of stuff in here. I'll just show you very quickly. Now, obviously it starts off by telling you what a candlestick is, why a candlestick forms, and it starts going into all the history, but it really gets interesting when they start talking about the different patterns, candlestick patterns, right? The different patterns that form, what they mean, and how you can actually trade off of these patterns, right? So for example, bearish engulfing, it gives you an example of a bearish engulfing, what they look like for shorts and for longs. And then it starts telling you how you can trade these. So it tells you to trade these. Don't just trade these whenever. You've got to start looking at these in trends. For example, you want to trade them with trends. You want to trade them, and then you've got Doji. You've got loads of different patterns, but it tells you when and where to trade these. So I'm not going to go through everything. If you want to have a look at this book, make sure you download this or buy it on Amazon. I'm sure it's available. It's a fantastic book. But the cool thing is they give you a lot of different ways to trade. Now, there's a lot of patterns. There's things like the morning star, the engulfing pattern, the Doji. We've got, what else have we got? Evening star pattern. There's a lot of different patterns, the hammer or Pinbar. All of these patterns, which you see all the time, but how do you trade them? Number one, what do they mean? And how do you trade them? So it got me thinking, what if I could come up with a strategy where I can basically get some indicators onto TradingView and make it a little bit easier to actually trade some of these strategies that they talk about in this book. And that's exactly what I did. So I've spent the last 3 weeks or so trying to find the best indicators that I can use to give the exact entry and exit criteria based off of what is taught in this book. Not only the patterns, but also the criteria. So for example, certain trends, finding certain areas where they are more likely to actually play out as a trade, because you can find these candlestick patterns all over the place, but it's when and where to trade them that is very important. So you don't want to be trading all of them all the time. You want to trade them at certain times or when certain things are happening or when the market is getting to certain areas where they are more powerful. So I actually went through a lot of indicators and a lot of back tests and a lot of failing. So I've tried so many different variations of indicators from, your moving averages, your RSIs, this, that, and the other, to try and figure out what is the best way that I can take what this book teaches and make it fairly easy to trade. And I finally found a good combination of only 2 indicators that actually seems to work pretty well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first jump over to the chart and I'm going to show you the 2 indicators, how I've set them up, and then we'll start talking about how you trade, and we will also go into actually doing some examples. Okay guys, so here we are on the chart. So I can just go over exactly which indicators I'm using, what the settings are, and then we can get straight into it. So I actually said 2 indicators, but you can use a third. You can see I am using a third, which is just the session. So I am only looking to trade in the London and New York session, okay? So if you know what those sessions are, you don't need the indicator, but that is going to be the third indicator. You can have a sessions indicator, okay? So let's start from the beginning. Let's have a look first at the indicator that I use to basically show the patterns that I want it to call out, so I don't have to constantly be looking for these engulfing bars, the morning star, all of these. So what I use is this one called Candlestick Patterns Strategy Revisited by Capissimo. I think that's how you say it. And let me just show you the settings. So first of all, what I'm doing, guys, is I don't actually change anything over there on the style. None of these I change. I'm only just unchecking some of the patterns. So all I'm looking for is the engulfing. I leave the harami on, and I leave the morning star and evening star, and that's it. But I mean, you can come on and you can select all of these. You can go to different candlestick pattern indicators. I've tried a few. This is the one that I like the most. So that's what I'm looking at. For the most part, I'm pretty much only ever getting the engulfing. So you could just leave only the engulfing. So basically we're looking for just the engulfing pattern. So that's that. I don't change anything else, and I basically am leaving that as that. So candlestick patterns is the first one, and then the second indicator is very simple. It is going to be an EMA, a 14 length EMA. So the only thing I'm changing is the length, 14, and then the method is EMA. I mean, you could use SMA. I don't think it matters too much, because this is just basically giving us the trend. So we are only trading with the trend whenever we get those patterns. Okay, so that's that. And then the final one I use is the sessions. The sessions one that I use is this one, sessions I use one of two. Either it's sessions on chart by Aurochs AIF, or sessions by JRFX Addict. So you can choose which one. Any sessions indicated, honestly doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So what are the criteria that we trade on? Basically, we have to be in the London or New York session. You don't have to be. I have been testing it, and for me, it's the best. I get the best results on the 15-minute, and the reason I like the 15-minute as well is because it gives you time to enter your trades. Because remember, as soon as your pattern is printed, you want to be taking your trade. So you've got to be in and out of your trade. I mean, in your trade fairly quickly. So you've got to be able to work out your lot size depending on what you're risking, based on where your stop is and all that sort of stuff. But I will talk about that later. And then what else do you need? So basically you need to be in the sessions. You want to be in the London and the New York. For a buy, you obviously want to be above the EMA, and you want a green engulfing pattern to be printed for a buy. So there's none there. For example, over here. Okay, so you're moving up, you have a green engulfing printed. You take your position as soon as that is printed, and then you are basically just putting your stop loss at the low of that candle. So the candle that prints the engulfing candle, you're putting your stop loss below that. Now I normally will go 0.5 above. So this one was 10.2. If I took that right on the tip of the wick there, was 10.2 and 0.5, so it'll be 10.5. And then I take a 1 to 1.5 reward. So 1 to 1.5 risk reward ratio, and that's it. It's just basically you win or lose it. You can also manage this if you want. One of the ways that I've spoken about managing these is taking off partials at either either at 1. You can take off partials at 1 to 1 and then wait for the rest, or you can just leave it, because it's only a 1 to 1.5, so you can just leave it to go. That is up to you. I have been testing this purely just on you either win it or you lose it. It's 1 to 1.5, or you lose 1. So that's how I've been doing it. And then for a sell is the same. If you are moving down and you get an engulfing, you want to take a sell. Now, generally, I don't really want to see the engulfing bar inside, or like printing inside of the EMA. I like it to be below. And I also don't like it to be too far away. So for example, like this one up here, it's very far away from the EMA. So you've already moved quite a long way up. I don't like to take those. I like to take it when it starts moving, and then you get an engulfing, then you can take that. So I've actually done a lot of back tests on the GBP USD, and I started doing a test now on the Euro USD. And I got fairly good results on the GBP USD. I basically got, I think it was about 50, close to 55%. Now, some people might think that's not a very good win rate, but with a 1 to 1.5, that is, you've got an edge on the market and you are going to be profitable. So let's just go over the rules again, guys. You want to be trading within the sessions, within the London and New York. For a buy, you want to be above the EMA and you want a green engulfing to print, okay? Now, you've got to basically look at how the price looks. For me, I like it to be moving above. I like there to be a little bit of distance away from the candle. And I also I don't want to take it when it's too far from the EMA. And I also don't like it when it's literally I wouldn't take this one because it's printing literally inside of the EMA. So generally I don't want to be taking a trade there. Okay, so yes, for a sell, you want to be below the EMA and you want to, let's just have a quick look where we had a sell. There we had a sell, but it was a losing one. But for example, we were below the EMA. We got a printing, a red engulfing printed, and that's where we were taking our position. That was a loss. Like I said, it's about a 55% win rate from my experience. And then, yeah, so below the EMA, you get your red printing engulfing, and then you are basically entering your stop right above the candle that has just printed. And then your take profit is 1 to 1.5 of that, okay? So now what I want to do is I'm going to just quickly show you maybe 2 or 3 actual trades. I'll go over all of the trades that I've done so far. Not all of them, but I'll count them so we can actually get a number on these. And then I'll show you 1 or 2 examples. But before I do go over some live trades with you guys and go over all the stats and the numbers, did you know that 2 of the biggest problems that face traders today is, number 1, not having an edge on the market, which is what we're talking about today, getting a strategy that gives you an edge, and that's what I am showing you today. And the second one is not having enough capital to trade with to actually make some decent money. Now, we've actually solved both of these problems and can guarantee you can get funded $100,000 of capital with a prop firm by using our automated prop farming trading system. Now, this system actually improves and adapt with the market conditions, which is actually not many EAs can say the same thing. And this is why our EA is probably one of the best on the market. Now, this EA and this system has actually already helped over 750 traders get funded with prop firms. Now, if you'd actually like to see a demo of this in action and find out exactly how we can guarantee your success with this, make sure you go to www.propfarming.com where you can watch a video on all of this information. Right, so with that being said, let's get back to the trading. Let's first just count how many trades we've taken, how many wins we've had, and how many losers. And then I'll show you maybe 1 or 2 trades that I actually go through with you guys. So in this session, I've traded just before I actually started this video. I was actually back testing on the Euro USD. I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 trades, of which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 were losers, okay? So 7 losers out of 16. So that means 9 were winners. So that's kind of what I was talking about, around a 55 to 60% win rate, which is exactly what I experienced on the GBP USD as well. And you can probably trade this on other pairs as well, because I think it will work on most pairs. So with that being said, let me just show you a couple more options. So I'll go a little bit further back. So that's where we got our last trade. So let's just zoom in over here so I can actually just give you guys a few examples of some trades here. Okay, so here we go. So this actually would have been our first trade over here, which looks like it might have been a loss. So let's have a look here. That would have been the entry. That would have been our stop. And yeah, this would have been a loss. Let me just double check. Yeah, so this would have been a loss. So let's add that in. That's a loss. And then we wouldn't have had another trade that day. And that's the other thing, guys. Normally what I'll do is I'll take basically 2 trades a day. If I lose the first trade, I'll take the second trade. And if I lose that trade, no more trades for the day. If I win the first trade, I will not take the second trade. Okay, so for example, over here, this would have been my first trade. You can see we're pushing up, we get an engulfing candle. So that would have been my entry. So that didn't stop me out, and we would have actually ended up getting 1 to 1.5 over there. So this one would have come close to stopping us out, but it didn't quite tap into the stop. And then we would have got a win there. So that is a win over there. Let's do one more little trade for you guys. Engulfing, that wouldn't be a setup over there. Engulfing. This one would have been. So you can see we've got pushing up. Those are red. So obviously we're not taking sells against the trend, but then we do get a green engulfing over here. It is a little bit far away, so it would have been like a 50-50 whether you take it. But if we did take it, that is 14. So we go 14.5. And then we want a 1 to 1.5 over there. Now, again, like I said, you just leave it till it actually wins or loses. And this one would have gone all the way till the next day and you would have had a win. So that's another trade over there where we get a win. So overall, I think that's like something like 17 or 18 with maybe 10 or 11 wins. So around a 60% for what I have traded. I'm going to keep backtesting this, but that's kind of the numbers that I have been getting, guys. Around a 55% win rate, which is pretty good for a 1 to 1.5 strategy. You're still going to be profitable. Now, some people might not want to trade a strategy that has a 1 to 1.5. I mean, a 50%, 55%. Maybe, you know, your emotions, you won't be able to take those losses. But for people that have been trading a while and people that understand how, you know, just having an edge on the market, how it works, then you can trade this strategy. You still have an edge. You are getting 50%, 55% of the time you are winning. And with that 50% of the time, you're getting a 1 to 1.5. So overall, you will be profitable if you just keep trading, just keep it rolling. You will be profitable long term. I think it's a pretty good strategy, guys. We got it from reading the book about candlesticks, looking at patterns, looking at how you can trade these, put this onto the charts, added some indicators which can basically automate it for us. You know, maybe if people understand patterns a little bit better and they were trading this without indicators, maybe the win rate would be even better. But the idea of the video is to basically make this available to anyone without really knowing too much about the patterns. So that's what I did. Spent a lot of time figuring it out. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't take this straight to a live market. Like I said, guys, it's just educational. I thought it'd be quite a cool video to see if we can actually get one of these strategies onto the chart with indicators and see how it works. And it actually works pretty well. Like I would consider trading this if I had the same numbers for over 100 trades. I would consider trading this on a live account. But yeah, let me know, guys. Would you trade the strategy? What do you think? Do you think you can better it? If you do, let me know in the comments. How would you make the strategy better? What would you do? Would you maybe throw in support and resistance? But the thing is, you don't want to overcomplicate it. But yeah, I'd just love to hear from you guys. What would you do? And if you did like it, guys, please like the video. If you haven't already subscribe to the channel, because we will be bringing you a lot of content like this and a lot of other content, educational content. Speaking of content, make sure you check out the video that Adam and Joe did where they actually go over in more detail about the EA that I was talking about earlier, and show you how you can trade it and show you how much potential it has. So make sure you check that out because it's really interesting. With that being said, guys, that's it from me. Trade safe and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.